I think it's perfect for Halloween season. It's quirky, it's super weird, it's just so off the wall. Best character in a book I've read in a very long time. Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm starting a new vlog. I have my Kindle here to tell you exactly what I'm reading right now. I've not started a vlog in, gosh, I don't even know, 3 weeks maybe, give or take, because the last vlog that I started got completely sidetracked because my friend visited me completely randomly out of the blue. And it was a great time and I definitely had a lot of fun, but it was very chaotic and I've just always had something going on. And so I just gave up for a while, but now I'm getting back into it. But because of that, I didn't film or tell you guys what I was reading before. And it really kind of sucks because I found a really good book. And I talked a little bit about it on my last vlog at the very end, because by the time I was filming that last vlog, that was like 3 weeks ago, give or take, I had already started reading this book, or perhaps I had already finished it, but I believe I had only started it. And so I talked a little bit about it, but I just want to reiterate again, it's so good. It's cheesy, it's a little bit toxic, but regardless, it's a really good book and I really enjoyed it. I have the second book on my Kindle and I've started reading it, but I kind of have a lot on my plate right now. And so I'm trying to withhold reading it right now as of this moment, because I just really would like to finish the other things that are going to expire at my library very soon first. That's my priority number one. But I do have the second one on my Kindle and I absolutely have started reading it and it is really good so far. I don't know, fingers crossed, we'll see if the second one is as good as the first one. But the second one is called Bespelled and the first one is Bewitched. And it's by Thalassa. And the first book was one that I got for the Stuff Your Kindle Day. It was October 3rd, I believe, and it was a kind of horror fantasy thriller Stuff Your Kindle Day. And I got so many books, like I will just list off the names. I'm not going to share the descriptions or anything because I got quite a lot for free. And if you guys missed out, I'm really sorry. They're not for free anymore. However, I'm still going to read them because some of them are really good prices. Some of them were quite expensive and I'm shocked that they were put on a sale for $0. I am ecstatic that I was able to get them, but some of them are really cheap. So you might want to get them. You might want to check if your library has them. Also keep your eyes open for the other Stuff Your Kindle Days. If you check on my channel under my community tab, I put some links for Stuff Your Kindle Day information and it tells you like all the other days, because it's not just one day a year. It's like a season basically. And it goes really hard at the end of the year. Like it really picks up for October, November, December. That's when the majority of the Stuff Your Kindle Days are. And they're from all different genres, all different websites, everything. And also Amazon in general has some pretty good deals. If you look like, I don't know, once a week or whatever, just set aside like Sunday morning as your day to take like 10 minutes and just scroll through and see if there's anything good. I promise you, you're gonna find a lot of really, really good stuff sometimes for free. It's incredible, I love it. So the books that I got for the Stuff Your Kindle Day, Bewitched, book 1, and also Latent Wolf, first in the Tobias Finch series by Elisha Kemp. I'm gonna apologize right now for how badly I'm gonna pronounce some of these names, I'm sure, and also probably some of the titles, just so you know. I am sorry. Nose Jobs, Hair Dye, and Other Ways to Fake Your Death by Natalie. The Bonds of Minthran, Mage Bond, book 1 by Jessica Celaya. The Flame of the White Horseman. It's like, the font is so tiny. Tales of the Four Horsemen by Jess Chavez. The Ghost of Marlow House by Bobbi Holmes. That is the Haunting Danielle series, book 1. The Midnight Sea by Kat Ross. If She Knew by Blake Pierce. Soulbound by Bethany Adams. Malevolent, I can't, that's too small. I can't read that. It's a Shay Archer novel. Maybe that's what it is. By Jana or Jana de Leon. I don't know. In German, it would be Jana. That's such a popular name. But I think in English, it would be Jana. Probably Jana. I don't know. Like everything inside of me wants to say Jana. But I don't think that in English, it would be. English is my native language. But I don't know. I've been not speaking it for so long for the most part, just living in Germany. I don't even know anymore. Louisiana Longshot also by her. I didn't know I got 2 books from her. The Watchmaker's Daughter, Glass and Steel, Book 1 by C.J. Archer. Disorganized Crime by Alex A. King, a Cat Mascaris Greek Mafia mystery. Call from the Crossroads by S.K. Era. Home is Where the Bodies Are by Amanda East. That was the last one. And then the other ones are books that I've got from the library, books that I own. So I got all of those for free on October 3rd. I'm really pumped about a lot of them. I will say mystery and thriller, they're not really my genres. I like horror if it's done well, but if it's gory just for the sake of being gory, then I don't like it anymore. I like a little bit more of a, I don't know, nuanced horror, I guess you could say. But the genres are not necessarily what I reach for normally. I tend to reach for fantasy or romantasy. And so this is a little bit out of my wheelhouse. However, so far I've only read 1 book that I got and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. And the other books, I really took my time deciding if I wanted to download them or not. Like, it was a list of hundreds that I could potentially choose from on October 3rd. And these were the specific ones that I chose. And so I'm feeling pretty confident that I'm gonna like all of them. I don't know, we'll see, but I'm super pumped about them. And then just to reopen my Kindle and tell you what I'm reading right now, or what I just finished last night, I finished Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie. Her last name really throws me for a loop every time. Maniscalco? I don't know how to pronounce it, but it is the Stalking Jack the Ripper series, book 1. It's a 3-book series, I believe, or 4 books actually, and then I think a mini novella. And I read the first one right now and I really enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I think it was surprisingly really gory. It was basically a direct kind of fictional representation of how it actually was with Jack the Ripper. And like, I mean direct as in the same wounds, the same horrific, I don't know, public displays of violence and murder and everything. And it went into some serious detail in this book. So don't even look in the direction of this book if you're not into gory stuff. It's definitely going to be too much for you. But if you're okay with gory stuff, better yet, if you are interested in that, and if you're interested in murders and murder mysteries, like real life murder mysteries like Jack the Ripper, then this probably would be a really good book for you. It was definitely very cheesy sometimes. And the protagonist, I feel like this sums it up. She's 17 and the guy that she's interested in is also 17. There's not that many books that I choose to read anymore nowadays where the protagonists are so young. I definitely tend to go for people in their 20s more often than not nowadays. I just feel like, I don't know, the protagonist, it's too young for me. And it's either the book is really written in a mature, really great way, but then it doesn't feel like it fits the super young teenage protagonist, or it's written in a way that fits the protagonist, but then it's written really young, too young for me personally. And I kind of feel like that's the dilemma that I'm usually in with young adult books nowadays. I definitely like young adult books if there's not so much of an emphasis on the person being a teenager. And in this book, it was brought up so many times. It was like, I'm only 17, he's only 17, we're only 17. And it was all the time, kind of, at least that's what it felt like to me, and it was annoying. But I did really like it despite that. I mean, was it perfect? No, definitely not. But I did really enjoy it. And I think it was interesting. And I'm looking forward to the second one. So that's a little update for that, what I just most recently finished. And what I started today, because I've only got, I think, 6 days to finish it at my library. There are currently 11 people behind me. So if I get back in line, if I cannot finish this in time and it's returned back to the library, I am so screwed. It's going to take months for it to come back. But it is A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. If you know anything about me, you know that I love T. Kingfisher. I'm really looking forward to this book. I'm 7% of the way through, and I'm definitely liking it so far. I'm not really sure where it's going to go. I didn't really read the description of the book. I kind of just went into this blind. I've heard the littlest sprinkling about it and about what it is, but I don't actually know much about it. And so I have no idea where this book is going to go at this point in time at 7%. But I'm liking it so far and I'm excited to see where it ends up. As mentioned, I started Bespelled, the Bewitched book 2. I'm 4% finished with that, but I am saving that because I have so much other stuff on my plate that I really have to finish. I'm kind of also going back and forth on reading Legendborn. I don't know. If you've heard from my other vlogs, then you know that I am enjoying this book, but it's taking forever to finish. I am 31% of the way through, and it says 9 hours and 30 minutes are left. That is ridiculous. To be a third of the way through with a book and still have almost 10 hours left, that is way too long for me, especially for a book that's so young adult. Like, if it was really an epic fantasy book, then I think I would have no problem, or at least very little problem pushing through it. But this is a young adult book, and sometimes it reads very young adult, a little bit too young for me. This is another one where she's a teenager and it's kind of brought up a lot. I think it's really well written and I like the idea of it, but I don't know. I'm just a little bit unsure if I want to finish it, how much effort I want to put into finishing it, if I should just wait, give it a little bit, I don't know, wait for the desire to come back full force again and then go back into it, or if I should just try to power through it. I don't know. I'm not really sure about that. But that is the only other book that I'm reading on my Kindle actively. And then as far as my phone goes, what I'm trying to focus on is what I actually have that is about to expire, which again was The Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher on my Kindle. And then Welcome to Night Vale, the audiobook. I believe I'm roughly, give or take, 20% of the way through with that. I am really liking it. It's basically a one-to-one copy of the podcast. So if you've heard the podcast at all, then you've basically heard the book. Like, it follows two characters who share a connection, but it still like really feels like a podcast in the way that they have commercials like in between, and it will still be side tangents sometimes from people in these two people's lives, and it will kind of explore that a little bit and then come back to it. But it's just like the podcast, and I love it. I think it's perfect for Halloween season. It's quirky, it's super weird, it's like hard to understand sometimes because it's just so off the wall, and they will just like throw things out and then they'll just move on. Like, there was one story where a coworker of one of the main protagonists in the book, he goes missing, and they're like, where's Evan? What happened to him? Like, you know, they're coming up with all these fantasies of where he could possibly be. And then the narrator comes in and says that the majority of people think that Evan probably died and his body just has not been caught yet. And then he just moves on, the narrator, to like another story. And that's it. And it's just like the sentence exits the mouth immediately, and then they're already starting on something else. And you're like, you know, 30 seconds into the other story, and you're like, wait a second, caught? His body hasn't been caught yet? Not found, but caught. And this happens all the time, like literally every minute. It's this process. It's like you're into another story and then you're like, wait a second, did they actually say that in this last one? And I really like that. I know a lot of people don't. It seems like that's the biggest reason why people have given it bad reviews, because they just can't follow the thinking, and they think it's really chaotic and it's not put together. And I think in a way that's absolutely true. But that's kind of the point, and I think that's kind of the whimsical nature of Night Vale, and I enjoy it, and I think it's perfect for the season. So I'm trying to finish that. I believe I've got maybe 9 or 10 days left before my borrow lapses and goes to the next person. And there are 2 people waiting in line behind me. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I definitely do want to finish it before it lapses. And then also, I am roughly 40% of the way through with a book that has been in my possession at my library, in my holds, 3 times, maybe just 2 times. This is either the second or the third time. And it has lapsed every single time and gone to the next person, and there are always like 16 people waiting behind me. I have been trying to finish this book for perhaps the entire year. I am not 100% sure, but I genuinely think I started reading this in January, February. It's October. I am still not finished. I'm still only 40% of the way finished. It's not the most intriguing book to me. It's Remarkably Bright Creatures, and I can't remember the author's name right now. It'll be on the screen as always so you can see, but I like it, and I think that it's a really well-written book, and I am enjoying it when I do read it. But the issue is just I would just rather read the other books that I have. I'm just always reaching for the book that I feel more drawn to in that moment and what's more interesting to me. And so far, that's not really Remarkably Bright Creatures ever. And I just really have to make myself read it. But then when I make myself read it, I do enjoy it. But it's just really not my genre. It's not a book that I would have chosen naturally. It was just recommended to me by so many people. I feel like everyone who reads it says it's amazing. They rate it 5 stars or maybe 4 stars, absolute minimum. But like such a good rating, and people rave about it all the time. And I really would like to read it, but I don't know. I'm not feeling it that much. So we'll see when/if I ever finish it. I would like to, as I said. I have, I believe, 8 days left before my hold expires again for the 3rd or 4th time, which is so embarrassing. It's awful. And I really just want to be done with it. So I'm going to do my best. I'm going to give 110% to hopefully finish that during this current hold. So fingers crossed, we'll see. I think it should be a pretty decent week compared to my past few weeks. So I have hope that I'll be able to finish these things, but yeah, knock on wood.
Take a second and make sure we're on the right track before we say something that we both know we can't take back. Staying up till late, but we're still where we started. Same things, the same things. Yeah, had enough for today. We're just making it harder.
Hi, so I am currently cooking lunch. However, as I was cooking, I was reading, can you see all the steam? I was reading Remarkably Bright Creatures, and I just finished it literally 1 second ago, and I have to speak about it because I cannot believe I ever said anything bad about it. Like, I'm actually shocked that I did not like it. I kind of understand when I look back on it, but honestly, I can barely even remember not liking it or remember the negative things about it because the end was so good. Like, the end was 5 stars, solid 5 stars, really good. Everything came together. It was just so perfect. It was so well written. It was really sweet. It was wholesome. It was like a little bit of mystery, which was pretty easy to guess. It wasn't like anyone was confused about the mystery, and even the book itself kind of gives it away pretty early on. But still, like, finding all the little pieces fitting together was so nice, and I loved it. And I just feel like Marcellus the octopus was just best character in a book I've read in a very long time. He made the book so much better. I just loved him so much. He was like 10 out of 10. And Tova also, I just think is a really cool character. I like her a lot. And all the side characters also are really well done and really unique. Like, they all have their own personalities and their own goals and everything, and they're all very well thought out and very well written, I feel like. And in the beginning, it was really, really slow going, and I think that's just why I didn't like it so much and why I thought, like, this really is not my genre. However, the more that the book went on, the more I realized that this isn't really my genre, but I am really enjoying it because I just feel like it was just so wholesome and it was so sweet sometimes, and just the characters were just so likable. I did end up rating it 4 stars overall. I just feel like that's more accurate to the book as a whole. However, if I'm just rating the way that it ended, the way that it was resolved, like the final 30% especially, it would be absolutely hands down 5 stars. But I'm not rating just that. I'm rating the whole thing, and I don't know, the beginning was just really slow to me and I just wasn't really feeling it. It took me a really long time to love the characters, but my gosh, like then it really gets going and then you really, really love the characters so much. And so like I said, I would recommend it to anyone, just with the caveat that you do kind of have to get through the beginning. And for me personally, it was kind of boring and I just wasn't a big fan of the beginning. However, once you get past that, it's so good. It's like so worth it. And it's just crazy to me that I like it so much now, whereas I literally regretted reading it at the 30% mark and thought about DNFing it. I can't even imagine DNFing it now, like knowing what I know now after having read it. Like I don't know, that would be so sad. Like I'm so happy I didn't, and I'm so happy that I powered through, because it was so worth it in the end. And it wasn't like it was excruciatingly bad or anything. It wasn't bad at all. It just was boring to me and I just wasn't really connecting. But I do think there's a difference. I don't really like DNFing books, especially if it's just that the book is a little bit boring or I'm not connecting, especially if I've not really given it like a good try. And by good try, I mean like hitting at least the 60% mark. Like I want to be more than halfway before I really decide if it truly is something that I'm not going to like. And I was judging this book at like the 30-40% mark or so. And I do think it was around the 50-60% mark where things really, really, really picked up. And I just fell absolutely head over heels for this book. So yeah, I would recommend it to you if you're even remotely interested with it. And also, I just love when books have a title like this one, Remarkably Bright Creatures, and then it's said multiple times in the book, especially at the end when it comes back and ties everything together. There is nothing better than that. That is just like chef's kiss. Like it is the best. I'm so obsessed with it. I love finding these little Easter eggs in books, and this book did such a good job because it was referring to one thing for the majority of the book, and then at the very end it referred to something completely different, and it just like pieced everything together so nicely. It just was like a masterpiece. That is everything that I have to say about that. Next time I update you, hopefully I'll be finished with another book. I don't know. I really kind of do have to slowly really start finishing things now. Like Welcome to Night Vale and A Sorceress Comes to Call. So fingers crossed I will be finished, or at least almost finished. I don't know. Knock on wood. By the way, if you're wondering what I'm cooking, sorry, I will include a little video clip, but I'm making the like famous, like social media famous recipe. It's like a harissa bean bread dip kind of thing, like a little bit soupy, and you dip your bread into it. And it is so good with spinach and sun-dried tomatoes and Parmesan, like the original one that got super famous, I think on like TikTok or something. I don't know. I sound like a grandma, but I don't use TikTok. I have no intention to ever use it. I avoid it like the plague. But I will say some really good things come out of it, like some really good recipes and some really good tips and whatnot. And this recipe was one of them. I love it. I make it pretty often. And I don't do the vegan version because I believe the original version is vegan and she uses like nutritional yeast and whatnot, but you can just swap that out for Parmesan. And I love Parmesan. I can never have enough Parmesan for my taste or for my husband's taste. And so yeah, that's what I'm gonna eat. I have my chopped bread right here, a ton of it, and then my delicious sauce. So I am gonna have lunch now. I will see you in my next update. Bye.
The same things, yeah. We're just making it harder. Same things, the same things. We don't need to talk about it. There's nothing left for us to say. So many thoughts around us. All these words are always in our way. So if you just keep me close, lead the way, take it slow, then maybe I'll get us both what we want. We don't need to talk about it. We don't need to talk about it. Yeah, we're at the point where we're supposed to say we're sorry, but it feels like we're only talking to ourselves right now. Yeah.
here's my final update. I will let you know where I am. Unfortunately, I did not finish anything, but I did get pretty far. I am currently in Welcome to Night Vale, I believe 70% of the way through, maybe even 75% of the way through with the audiobook. I am so close to being finished. And then with A Sorceress Comes to Call, I am 70% of the way through. So very similar. I've got 2 hours and 15 minutes left on the book. And with the audiobook, I have no idea time-wise how much I've got left. Sorry. But I am definitely almost done with both of them. Hopefully I'll be finished in the coming days, so this next week. However, it's already Monday and I wanted to stop this vlog on Friday. And then I pushed it to Saturday because I thought maybe I could finish something in time, and then I pushed it to Sunday, and now here we are on Monday. So I just gotta call it. This is my final update. I gave it my best shot to try to finish these on time, but also I think it's fine. For Welcome to Night Vale, I've got 3 more days, and for The Sorceress Comes to Call, I have 1 more day. However, I do think I will be able to achieve it. I don't have too much time today, but I'm really hoping I could get to bed a little bit early, and then I think I will just read until I am finished, because I'm not gonna have any time to read it tomorrow, and it's due tomorrow, so I'm gonna have to finish it tonight. However, I don't want to push this to tomorrow. So me finishing it will just be on the next vlog, which theoretically is supposed to start today. And then you can just catch me finishing it in the next vlog that will be posted probably like a week after this, give or take. But I am really liking it so far. It's T. Kingfisher. So, you know, I knew I was gonna like it, and I knew that the characters were gonna be so incredibly well written, the side characters as well. She just makes you feel so much for her characters. Like, it doesn't matter that they're just side characters. Like, they're so, I don't know, so authentic and so fleshed out and so comprehensive. Just like, it's just, they're their own people, and it just makes you feel something for them, I feel like. And I just really like her books. I love T. Kingfisher. So I am enjoying that tons. I am thinking probably it's going to be 4 stars. Welcome to Night Vale, I'm thinking 4 stars, maybe 3.5 rounded up to 4. I really like it, but it's kind of just like the podcast, but just an extra long episode of the podcast, and it doesn't really feel like it's a novel. And I just feel like, I don't know, I like it better in bite-sized pieces as a podcast more than a novel form. And I still really like it, but I just don't think that I like it enough to like rate it 5 stars or anything like that. But I am really liking it. So yeah, that is everything that I have to update you for now. You'll just have to check out my next vlog for when I finish both of these books and what my final thoughts are. But I really doubt it's going to change too much. But who knows? Could be some twist endings for both of them. Honestly, I could see both books having, I don't know, some sort of shocking endings. I think for T. Kingfisher, her endings usually aren't super shocking, or if they are, they've been hinted at along the way. And so I kind of do feel like I have an idea of how that book is going to end, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see in my next update, which will be in my next vlog. Anyways, I hope that you all have a great day. I hope that you had a great reading week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.